Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name's Argonaut, and in this one, we're going to talk a bit about Kena, Bridge of Spirits. A charming indie adventure that may have flown under your radar, including the development history, the story, the gameplay, and my thoughts on it. You can use the chapters in the description below to jump around if you want to skip certain parts. And if you like this video, feel free to click the subscribe button to keep up with me. And with that shameless self-promotion out the way, on with the video. Back in the far-off, but yet not so far-off, year of 2018, a small indie studio called Ember decided to try their hand at creating a game for the first time. Originally formed back in 2009 by brothers Mike and Josh Greer, they had mainly specialized in making commercials and visual effects. But that is up until 2016, when they created a fan-made video called Majora's Mask: Terrible Fate, which is about 4 minutes long and is actually here on YouTube if you want to go check that out. But after seeing how well their fan-made film did with gamers and fans of Zelda, Ember decided to try their hand at making a game on their own. And so, with that, in 2017, they started developing Kena with a small team. And when I say small, I mean a small team. They had a core team of about 15 people working on the project at the time. And at some point in 2017, they signed in for a console exclusive contract with Sony, which also assisted them with the funds and the marketing. Although in 2020 the game got delayed due to certain reasons, as well as the team having to go fully remote to work on the game, which also didn't help anything. The game would eventually be released on PlayStation consoles and PC on September 21st, 2021, and coming out for the Xbox on August 15th of 2024. I know I said that Sony helped Studio Lab with the marketing, but personally, I don't recall ever seeing the game being marketed anywhere. Like, at all. Was Sony mainly just relying on word of mouth for this game to get its name out? Or am I just missing something? Let me know in the comments if you ever saw any actual marketing for Kena anywhere. Personally, I think I just heard someone somewhere, maybe a friend, if not saw it somewhere online, say that the game was surprisingly good. So at some point last October, I picked it up when I saw it was on sale for about $15 and then fully forgot about it. Only to once again be reminded about it later on after seeing Kena in Astrobot in January of 2025. Then, after finishing Stellar Blade, but yet not wanting to play a long game that I would have to really commit to, as I was awaiting the release of Doom: The Dark Ages, I finally decided to give Kena a try, and boy am I happy that I did. The story of the game is pretty simple. As the name implies, you play as Kena, who is a young spirit guide, as she goes to an abandoned village where some type of great tragedy happened and corruption has taken over the forest. Think of her as sort of like Aang from Avatar, just take out the bending part, but keep the whole guiding spirits and restoring balance part. And as you go, you also rely on these little adorable spirit creatures called Rot, which aid her throughout her journey. Throughout the game, you help a lot of the spirits move on and to let go of whatever ties they had, or reunite with their loved ones that also moved on, while at the same time uncovering the secret of the tragedy that unfolded in the village. Now, while this game may look like it'll be a happy Disney movie type of game all the time, the story rather quickly goes on to actually be pretty deep and rather dark at points. When you first see the game, you'll almost second guess yourself with thinking, are you sure this game is an indie? Because it just looks beautiful. Almost like a freaking Pixar or DreamWorks movie. Ember used Unreal Engine 4, and you can tell that they knew what they were doing with it. The game almost feels like a playable version of that Majora's Mask fan film that they made before. The lush forests and their particle effects really work well together to make their world feel alive, with the forest having corruption take over, along with seeing man-made structures and houses fall apart or get taken over by corruption. Other times, it does feel a little ominous, since you spend a lot of time running throughout this abandoned village. And for the music for the game, once again, it personally reminds me a bit of Avatar-style music. But also for the music of Kena, Ember Lab actually did reach out to a few gamelan groups with helping it and trying to create it in a way that doesn't disrespect their culture. While I don't think too many people are going to be adding it to their Spotify lists, I do find that the music goes really well with the game and adds to the atmosphere, especially the last track that plays at the end of the game, which is my personal favorite. The controls for the game are pretty straightforward. You can do a light attack or heavy attack with your staff using R1 and R2, jump with X, dodge with circle, use your shield with L1, and if you use your shield at the perfect timing as an enemy hits you, you'll then parry. But, I mean, the timing to get the parry is crazy tight. Like, I cannot stress enough. You will probably have maybe a 0.8 second window to hit the button. I mean, I thought Stellar Blade's parry window was small, but it's almost a dream compared to Kena. And on top of that, in Stellar Blade, you can also put modifiers on to make parrying easier. You don't really get that in Kena. If you practice enough and learn the enemy's moves, you'll probably be able to parry anything easily enough. The enemies don't really have the most complicated moves. You can also use the Rot to help you fight. They pretty much just work as more powerful versions of your regular moves. A stronger melee attack, a stronger arrow that can pierce enemies. By the way, you get a bow and arrow. And they can also give you stronger bombs to throw at enemies, as well as being used to bind enemies. But be careful, you can't exactly spam the Rot to help you fight every other second. You have to be able to deal a lot of damage to enemies to build up a gauge to gain one attack with the Rot. I know it sounds a little bit weird, but it makes way more sense when you're actually playing. The gameplay for this game is also pretty simple and straightforward. Half of the times you'll end up fighting a few corrupted spirits, and with the help of the Rot, you'll end up destroying a red corruption flower in the area to clear the corruption. And some of the boss fights in the game are actually pretty challenging. I played on normal difficulty and got my teeth kicked in half the times by some of them. I found it to be a fair mix. For some bosses, you'll have an easy time and beat them on your first try. For a couple of others, it'll maybe take a try or two. And for a couple of others, it might take an hour or so to beat them. After a lot of combat encounters, you also gain experience points which you can use to upgrade your moves and abilities. Overall, the combat is fun, satisfying, but at the same time, has a fair amount of difficulty for it, if it's your first time playing. I can't even begin to imagine what the master difficulty would be like. My only complaint here would still be that timing window for the parry. As of now, Kena Bridge of Spirits was ultimately a big success, and supposedly Ember Lab made back the development cost for Kena within a month after its release. And, as of this moment, there are no confirmed plans for a sequel to Kena, as Ember Lab would like to work on a new IP. Although they did release a free patch for Kena about a year after it came out, as a part of an anniversary update, which added a new game plus, new outfits for Kena, a new game mode called Spirit Guide Trials, a new photo mode, and charms that Kena can equip, which can either buff or nerf some of Kena's skills and abilities. As much as I like this game, I'd be cool whether they make a new game with Kina on a new quest, or if they just leave things the way that they are. Personally, I think if they were to make a sequel, I'm not sure if it'd be able to capture the full emotional impact that the first game had. Overall, this is what I really liked about the game. It had a deep and engaging story, while at the same time it looks like a freaking DreamWorks or Disney movie. And it also had a pretty fair difficulty, even on normal mode. You won't just go on normal mode and walk through the game. You'll have trouble every now and again, which I think is a good way to play a game. Nobody wants to play a game and basically cakewalk through the whole thing. The controls also felt nice, and you also had quite a bit of variety for the moveset you were able to use. And for the few complaints I had, this was pretty much it. The parry window is really small, so the chances that you're able to parry consistently is really minimal. And the last boss fight is actually a pretty long fight, and if you screw up and die once, you have to do the whole thing over again. Which may not be bad for some people, but if you're a casual player, this will feel really brutal compared to the rest of the game. Overall, I think Kina is a great game that doesn't need a sequel, and it shows along with some other games that you don't need to be a AAA title with a high budget to be a gorgeous and fun game. And at the end of the day, isn't that mostly what gaming's all about? If you haven't played this game, then I highly, highly recommend it. You can probably get it on sale for about 15 bucks, and you can probably beat it in about 15 to 20 hours. But let me know in the comments, what were your thoughts on Kina if you've ever played it before? Do you agree with what I said? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, let me know if there are any other PlayStation games that I should check out and make a video of. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.